an artificial intelligence, right? So artificial intelligence means an intelligence that is not human-like. For example, you're a human, you're really smart, right? So, and humans, they made a machine so they can have the same intelligence level as a human, even though it's not a real person here. They can do many things, right? The most basic stuff of AI. So, for example, you have a bunch of apps, right? And you don't want to search for them forever because that takes a long time. You want to group the apps into certain things, like these apps tells you the news, these apps are for gaming, these apps are for learning and stuff. You group the app together, and the AI, it gives a name for those apps. And then when you look at the name tag, you're like, okay, that's what that app is for.
Rồi.
And then you click on the group, and then you have certain apps for that specific
Do you understand?
purpose.
Okay.
Another thing, voice recognition. This one's really smart. Basically, this is programmed with like a Q&A type of thing. So a Q&A is like when you program a question. So you write a question, right? And then you write another answer. It's easy, right? And then you ask that question, you get the answer. It's easy. And then they use like a voice recognition thing, so it can recognize your voice. They didn't exactly teach you this in the thing, but like they only teach you the question and answer stuff. So when you ask Siri, like for example, Siri is a voice recognition machine, right?
Siri is an AI.
Yeah, Siri is an AI, it's an artificial intelligence. For example, you ask Siri, what time is it? It gives you, Siri gives you the time. Or you ask something similar, like a similar question to that, but not exactly that. Like, can you show me the time?
No. Yes.
It's still the same thing. It's a different way of saying it, but it still has the same answer. Because, or it can recognize face and photos. For example, this new thing, when you take a photo, a certain photo, it can recognize the face of the person in that photo, right? So, or filters. A lot of people like to use filters, right?
Filter is AI.
Yes, filter is a type of AI.
Why?
Because it can detect. Oh, I have this really stupid picture that I have. I'm just gonna use it, and then a filter, it can detect a certain pixel of a picture. You know what a pixel is, right? So Mom, I search God. So a pixel is like this picture. It makes up of many small little squares here, and each square has a different color. That's a pixel.
Pixel there.
Yeah, that's a pixel, and it kind of changes the pixel to make it changed the color of pixel to make it a little lighter or a little darker or whatever, right? So filters is a type of AI. For example, some people like to use Snapchat, right? A lot of people like to use Snapchat. We all like to use Snapchat. Snapchat has a face recognition thing, kind of like the one they have in photos, right? And then it can recognize your face by putting it on your face, like kind of like an iPhone X. And then they use the filter thing. They combine two of the abilities, the purposes together. They combine both of them,
Filter
and face recognition, to make a certain app.
iPhone X.
Yeah, for example, iPhone X, they can do that, or Snapchat, or whatever. For example, documents. This one's fun. You can go on like a website, right? And then you change a video on this website. You can like take a video, and then you can change the code in that video. So instead of making a video file, it gives you an audio file instead, so you can just listen to the audio without the video.
So mean that AI is not new.
AI is not a new thing. It's been around since a very long time already.
Oh.
It's artificial intelligence. Okay, so back in 1990 something, they made like arcade games. You know what arcade games are?
No.
So you know how you go to like these like
Don't
places.
tell me game. I don't
No,
know.
Mom, it's a good example.
Okay. Good.
Stop. this one is a really old example. Like, for example, back in when everyone was really young, you go to like a place, right? And then they have like, you know, those big machines, and then they have like these small games, and you have a small control and you play the game. Even a simple game of ping pong on that machine is called an AI because you give it a command of something. You give it a command like, if you do this, it can do this, right? You basically code it. If you code it, it's AI. TV is also a type of AI. It's not
Why?
exactly AI because like
Smart TVs AI.
smart TVs are AI, but normal TVs can be AI too because like you for example, you press number 1 on the remote control, right? And then the TV detects the number 1 on the remote control, and it's like, oh, number 1 means channel 1, so I have to switch to
How about my
channel 1.
car? Is she AI?
What?
How about my car?
What's that?
My car?
What's that?
Is a car is AI or
Yeah, your car is AI.
She AI?
Yeah, your car is an AI because when you know how you go back, it gives you a
Yep.
camera, and then it detects, and then you have the red thing. It says that you should back up because the car uses a face recognition thing, similar to that. It recognizes items behind the car and tell you, hey, you should not move back because then your car is going to crash.
Yeah.
okay. So AI, let's extend questions. AI, people, human create AI. So you think that in the future AI can control humans or something?
I mean, if humans create. Okay, there's my personal opinion, so it can be really.
Yeah, I need your.
So humans, they created AI, right? So they must be smart enough to know how to control the AI and make it. But why would an AI want to take over the world?
Yeah.
Just think about it. Why would an AI want to take over the world unless the human who made the AI asked the AI to control the world? Then it would, because like if you said if there's no option for that, it can't exactly do that because you know the AI, the human that created it did not ask it to do that, so it cannot take over the world unless you give it a very human-like intelligence, maybe even more. That's exactly the same to a human with human emotions and opinions. Then it may take over the world depending on what its opinion is, because you know it's a real human. For example, you know that robot Sophia. So it's close to achieving a human-like intelligence, right? So there's a possibility that it may take over the world because though it won't, because we have yet to give it a real emotion. It has its own opinion, but there's no real emotion and process of thought on why it should take over the world. Because AIs, they're smart. They know that depends on the person programming it. They know what they should be doing, and they always listen to the programmer's controls.
So in the future, it means that it means that
It
we
depends
should
on the-
worry about.
We should
technology.
we should not worry actually.
Why?
Because it depends on the human. Do the humans want the robots to take over? If not, then well, just give it a command not to, or just don't give it a true human-like intelligence, so it won't have its own opinion and take over the world by itself. Because to do that, you must have your own opinion, your own emotion, your own human-like intelligence, your own point of view on why taking over a world is a good thing.
Do you know that we have a case that to computer
To computers
that human create that
has
to
a conversation.
Yes,
Yes, I read about that actually.
And that is a warning.
That is not actually when you think about it, is a type. It's a type of question and answer kind of thing, because even though it has its own low conversation, You know exactly what
That is
conversation.
low conversation because the two computers not intelligent. But in the future, it means when human create the very intelligent computer,
that's the-
so they
well,
can-
that- well,
they
that
have the
depends.
high conversation.
Well, that depends on the human. If the human were smart enough to give it an off switch or a delete button or something kind of like that, you can, delete it because it's a machine. You're controlling the machine. So it's not the machine's fault. The machine is only doing the action for you. It's your choice of deciding whether to make that type of machine or not. So, for example, AI is like a gun, right? So you have a gun, you have a you have a gun and a bullet, right? But it cannot shoot unless the person using it is pulling the trigger. That's exactly what AI is.
I love that. I love
It
that
cannot
idea.
work unless
yeah,
you pull
very
a
good
trigger.
idea.
That's all?
That's all, unless you have any more questions.
So